Good morning and welcome to the Charlotte MAME Awards 2015 Part 2 seminar. We're Shane and Lisa Parrish and we're with Peter Productions, and we've been doing awards programs around the country for over 25 years. Our company's 40 years old, and actually Peter Mayer is my father, and he actually created the MAME Awards back in 1972. So to say that we have unique knowledge would be an understatement. We eat, sleep, breathe MAME. So there is no question that hasn't been asked, and if you can stump me, that would be pretty awesome. So we're here to help you, guide you, and make it easy for you. We're in Southern California, so when you're calling us, just know that we have a little time difference. And don't fear, we will call you back or email you back. But I do like to tell people that just in case they're like waiting for an immediate response and it's like 5:30 in the morning for us. We're not quite at our desk yet. Although we are early risers. Today we're going to be going over all of the steps to enter and the processes to make this a streamlined and easy process for all. So we did go through yesterday with the advisory group and looked at all of the categories and requirements. Some things have been simplified and streamlined so that not only will it be easy for you to submit your entries, but it'll also be very easy for you to take your entries and move them up to the nationals next year. Your entries are uniquely lined up so that you can enter your local awards and then the national awards right after that. The nice part is we have a rollover program so that you do not need to resubmit the materials. They just literally just get taken straight up to the nationals for you if you so choose. So that's a unique benefit to this year's awards program. So I wanted to give you all some important dates. We're going to be doing the entry process as a two-step process. The call for entries will be live and ready to go on Monday, December 15th. We're going to rapid fire go right before the holidays. So you're going to get an email from us with the full call for entries package, which will be the requirements, the categories, the forms, and so forth, so that you can get started. The entry application, there are two things, an entry application and an entry form. The application is just that. That's the application to submit. That is due no later than January 30th. January 30th is the last day you want to do that. Don't wait till the 30th. That will make it too late. It's like doing your homework on the day before it's due. Because then what's going to happen as soon as you submit that application is you're going to receive an email back from us with instructions and entry numbers so that you can complete your materials and send them in. The date for your entry submittals is February 5th. All right? So those are the two major dates you're going to want to keep in mind.
What day of the week is that?
Those are Fridays. Now, we like to say February 5th, we say midnight is the deadline. However, because it's submitted all electronically, we'll accept them all the way through that weekend for some reason. So, things happen where the Dropbox link doesn't come through or something like that. And the other good news is, if we do not receive your entries, we'll pick up the phone and call you. Hi, we are missing your logo entry, or we don't see your entries come through. Could you resend them to us? So never fear, nothing gets lost. We double check and make sure that everybody's accounted for.
Our company philosophy is about recognition, so if an I isn't dotted or a T not crossed just right, we don't kick out, we call and find out what the issue is and then move forward.
Exactly, we do not disqualify anything, we'll call. So this year, we will be judging in person in Charlotte, February 11th and 12th. We will be doing personal interviews for the individual achievement, and we'll give you the dates for that interview day. You'll actually have, if you submit your individuals, you'll receive an interview time and a location, and most likely we'll be here at the Crown Plaza. And on the 12th, we'll be out with the judges touring product in our van, and you'll know ahead of time if we're going to be stopping by your community if you're submitted. On February 16th, we'll announce the finalists. Sponsorships, if you're going to be sponsoring, those are due the 24th of April. Oh, wait, pardon me, March, forgive me. And March 26th is the MAME ceremony. Forgive me for that typo there, guys. So just going again through the steps to enter. The first thing you're going to do when you receive that call for entries package on Monday through your email is to review the categories and the requirements. The requirements are fairly simple. It's two forms, an entry form and a marketing statement, and the imagery to support that entry. for instance, it could be up to 8 images for any one of the categories. So we'll go through that here in a little bit, but I just want to give you, the category requirements are fairly simple and straightforward. You're going to complete that entry application that's going to be in that package and return it with your entries, the categories that you selected, and you're going to email that directly to me, Lisa Parrish, and I'll have instructions on how to return that. What will happen then is we will number your entries and we'll send you back an entry confirmation email with all the instructions to submit. You'll prepare all of your entry materials, and if you have any questions as you're going through that, you can pick up the phone or email us and call us. We'll be here to help. And then you return all of your materials after you've gotten everything together no later than February 5th. Should there be any questions, we will call you. So we just want to give you a glimpse at the categories for this year. No major changes to the individual achievement categories. Rookie sales professional, that's less than 2 years of selling. No previous selling experience in real estate prior to that. So they can have been in, they could have sold shoes at Nordstrom or cars, but they shouldn't have had their license, real estate license prior to that. We have sales professional, team, co-broker agent, sales manager. Online sales counselors are huge this year. That's one of the biggest categories we had at Nationals. It was great, it's fabulous. Obviously we have the superintendents, the customer service professionals, builder partner, which is the associates, the non-builders, and we have lender of the year. Note, the Shining Star Award is a category for nomination. That's someone who is just doing something extraordinary within the industry, and there is no entry fee required for that category. Every other category in MAME does have an entry fee of $125 per entry. And then we have our Leadership Award. In our Marketing and Design Achievement Awards, we'll go through, we have logo, brochure, print ad, electronic marketing program. That is what we would like to call social media and or integrated electronic. That could be e-blasts, banner ads, anything online. We didn't split it in this market. At Nationals, we have 2 different categories where we have the paid and the non-paid. But dependent on entries, should we receive enough entries, we may split that category. Social marketing is a little different beast than is the internet marketing, whereas you have the banner ads and the click-throughs. Overall ad campaign, new home marketing publication, special promotions. We have a green builder marketing campaign as well, community outreach, and signage and billboard. Note, just so that everyone knows, you should not, or you may not, resubmit if you've won the gold award in the category over the past 3 years. If you've already won the award in that category, you aren't eligible to resubmit. Okay? So in that instance, it is noted on the call for entries which categories you are ineligible. If you have a salesperson or a marketing director who has won the previous year, they are eligible. It's an of the year category. So that is noted on the call for entries for you on which categories can be resubmitted and which cannot.
And Lisa mentioned that it's an entirely electronic submittal. The only category that's not is brochure. And if you enter brochure, all we ask is that you send in a copy of the brochure to the HBA, and because the judges will judge those by looking at them. It's a tactile thing; they need to see it and feel it. So
absolutely, the brochures must be delivered to the HBA offices no later than February 5th, and that'll be noted in your instructions.
On the gold award winners, where you said they're ineligible, that means something like the same floor plan or the same. If they're submitting a different plan, they're eligible.
Exactly. It only they have to have marked differences from the previous year. So if you have for instance, you have a billboard and it's won previously, but it's a totally new billboard for the same community, you may resubmit. But it has to have definite changes from the previous year. So we have websites, sales environment, sales offices, design centers are fabulous. Landscape, outdoor living space, and community amenities. And then we also have interior merchandising. Interior merchandising, just so you all know, will be awarded by price. However, and that is the same for product design, when the entries do come in based upon the entry submittals, we will break those into subcategories based upon their price ranges. But we won't do that until after the entries come in to make sure that there's competition within the category. But you will not see a floor plan or a model that is priced at $280,000 competing with a model that's priced over $500,000. That would apples to oranges. So just know that those will be done based upon the entry submittals after we receive them on the 5th. We also have Community and Builder of the Year honors, Single Builder Community and Master Plan, Custom Home, Builder of the Year, and Developer of the Year. So those are our category offerings for 2015. This is a copy of our entry application. And what it's going to show is you'll fill out the category number and the name, your community or nominee's name, and then the entry fee amount. Now I just did this as a sample, so they're not exactly right. Obviously Sally Smith and so forth. So this is just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like and how you're going to send it back to us. Once you do send it back, this next part I forgot to add in is when you receive your confirmation, you'll receive your confirmation email back with the entry numbers and so forth, but you'll also receive an invoice. The invoice is for your entry fees. You must pay your entry fees no later than February 5th. Because if you don't, we don't have the fees received by the HBA offices, it doesn't matter if you send me those materials, they'll be held until we receive the payment. Okay, so that's very important. We won't take them out or kick them out. We'll call and say, hey, thank you so very much for submitting. However, we haven't received your entry fees. Please get those over to the HBA office so we can release your entries for judging. On the entry confirmation email, you'll receive instructions on naming your files, the size of the files, the photography, the brochures, and so forth. Again, as you're going through this, it's fairly laid out. If you have any questions, just let us know.
1 second before you go on. Go back once. On the images, for numbering, because this is my part of the putting the judging together. The category number, the entry number, and then the underscore and number 1 there is there. No, down. There is how I like the images numbered. Note that you don't have to when you're numbering your team form and your marketing statement. You don't need to do the underscore 1, 2, or whatever. You can, like the example above there where it says floor plan or entry form, whatever you want there. That's fine. But a lot of people think, okay, I'll do my images 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, and then 9 is this and 10 is they don't have to follow that suit.
Okay. All right. So when you're putting after you get your entry numbers back, what we like to suggest is that you prepare your entry package assembly space. In the old days, we would have folders on our desks that would say, this entry and this entry. Obviously, we're going to do that on our desktop now. It's nice to create a folder, make sure you name them. It's okay that you name the folders with the name of the person. This is the only time that you're going to refer to those as with the name of the project or the person. The judging is blind. When the judges see everything, they will only know that 0103, which is entry 103, is entry 103. They will never ever hear that it's Samantha Smith. They will never know that 1802 is Treetop Estates. They will only know it's 1802. They'll never know that it's Ryland Homes or Benchmark. They will only know that it's located in Mint Hill, it has a primary target market of first-time home buyers, and so forth. So it's completely blind. The judges do come from outside of your market. They are professionals within the industry who have entered or judged previously, so they know what they're looking at. It's not foreign to them, but they have no connection to any of you or any of your building companies or your associates. So it's completely and utterly free of any strings or any ties.
With that said, obviously when they're judging a print ad, you're not going to block out the builder name or whatever out of the print ad so that they'll see it there. But
yeah, I mean, in certain instances, you're going to definitely see in a sales office, you may see the name of the project and so forth. But because they're not from your local market, they have no tie. Okay? So this is a copy of the entry form. The entry form is what we like to call the team sheet. The team sheet is used for the acknowledgement of your team. After you win, we need to know who to give credit to and who to contact and say, congratulations, you're a finalist for the MAME Awards. So on this form, you'll see it gives you the category number and title. Oh, sorry, pardon me. Category number and title. That's also where you're going to put in your entry number. So you would have 1803 or 1602. You're going to have your community name, how it's going to be referred to in all print, the plan number or name, the location, And then the company submitting. Now, if you're the company submitting, you're definitely going to put that in there, because if we have any questions, we need to get back to you and talk to you about something. We want to make sure we have that. But then it'll also ask you for your associates, your ad agency, your landscaper, your architect, and so forth. If those fields are inapplicable to the category that you're submitting, if you're submitting for best logo design, we do not need to know the name of your landscaper or your interior merchandiser or your architect. You can leave those blank. The reason they're on there is so that we can have one form that fits all categories. Okay?
Now, if you know you're going for Community of the Year, and you're going to want to, for your Community of the Year entry, you're going to want to fill the whole thing out. You could fill it out once and then submit that with the logo and with the ad and all that kind of stuff. And we don't care that it's all filled out. It just, if you're not doing that, it saves you some time.
Absolutely. That's a good trick. That's a good heads up. This is your marketing statement. The marketing statement is very important. This is what the judges are using to understand what you've done with your community. It asks you for your entry number, the location of your project, the city, the primary target market. They need to know, is this a first-time buyer? Is it a move-up? Is it active adult? Is it empty nesters, and so forth? The sales price of the plan or project. The sales price is the market value of the home. You might have a range if you're going for a community, but it gives them an idea of where you fall. The square footage of the plan. That is only necessary if you are submitting for interior merchandising or product design. If you're submitting for billboard, you may leave that obviously empty. The website address, if you give it to us, and if we have a question regarding hey, other options or something else offered in this community, what are the community amenities, I can link right to it and go to it. The judges will never see this form. It is read to them. So never fear, but you are not to use your builder or your project name in the narrative statement, which goes at the bottom here of the form. You have 200 words at the bottom of the form, and you see in your entry samples provided and also available online. That is where you give us a story. This is where we're going to talk about, your obstacles, your goals, your solutions, and what your intentions were for this community. If you have an active adult community and it's targeted towards a certain group, and you've done some, fairly innovative new floor plans or new marketing, that's where we're going to tell the story. So that is very important to know that. And again, samples have been provided so you get a good idea of what the intention is there.
This goes with every entry?
Every entry. Okay. And it's basically this right. Now, you have up to 200 words. Please do not feel like you have to fill 200 words. If it's a logo entry and you just basically want to say, hey, it's a logo, this is our intention, this is what we did, that's fine. It could be as bullet points. Bullet points work very well as well. But this gives the judges at least an insight into what you're striving to do for that specific entry.
And remember your audience.
And remember your audience. That's a very good point, Shane. Remember your audience when you're doing the marketing statement. They are industry folks just like you. You're not speaking to them like a consumer. You're not selling them your floor plan. Basically, you're speaking to them and saying, hey, this is what we did. This is what our challenge was. We needed to have a master floor on the first level, and so this is how we achieved this goal. Okay? Or we had lot constraints, so we had to, do something different. And one of our last judgings, we had a 22.5-foot wide community. The homes were 22.5 feet wide. So they had to explain to us how they had to make the home deeper and explain some of the constraints they had within the floor plan with the fact that they had those lot constraints. That's the unique story. Now, again, not all the time you have something so illustrious to speak about, but at least it gives us an idea. So now you have all of your materials together, everything's in their folders, and you're ready to submit. What you have is the opportunity to submit through whichever file sharing service that you like. Some people like Dropbox, some people like Hightail, some people have FTP sites. Whichever one you prefer is completely acceptable to us. Once you have everything together, double check it, and then submit it to us no later than February 5th. Again, if something's missing or something didn't come through, we'll pick up the phone and call you.
Can more than one person within a company have the opportunity to submit entries? Or
Absolutely. Yes, thank you, Leslie. Yes, anyone in the community can submit entries. However, double check with each other so that you don't cross.
Okay.
And if you're working together as a team, you might want to just double check each other and then submit it through one channel. But we have had that happen where, you have Mary and Sally submitting from the same company. Just make sure you're not duplicating effort.
So is that 2 applications?
It can be. It depends on, sometimes what we'll have is we'll have a sales manager who's doing all the individual achievement, and then we'll have a marketing manager doing all of the marketing and design.
Okay.
And that's fine. It's not a problem to us. We just need to know who to speak to about which group of categories, so that we're not asking the wrong person about somebody else's interest.
And that's on that team form at the top where it said contact person.
Yeah, the contact name is very important. And for some reason we don't call, Sally might say, no, you gotta call Mary. So again, just going over the steps to enter, review your categories and requirements, send in that entry application as soon as you have your list so you get your entry numbers back. That way you'll have plenty of time and we'll have plenty of instance to have any questions. And then submit everything no later than February 5th. We do have tips to preparing, which are also included in your call for entries package. Choose the categories and enter early so that you get your entry numbers. Photography, get the best you can afford. If you can't afford a professional photographer, we do highly suggest it, but if you can't, obviously it's understandable. All images should be saved to 1800 by 1200 pixels. If it's a vertical image, it can be 1200 by 1800 pixels, but it gives you, and it's approximate. So if you end up and you're just a little bit short of that or a little bit over it, that's fine. The reason we put this in there is sometimes the photographers will send you back your photography and it'll be 7500 pixels by 4500 because it's for print, it's for your billboard. Those are way too large for us. We do not need them that large. So
two things quickly, which we need to bold that for the next time, but save all images to JPEG. They all need to be JPEGs. Even images for logos and print ads, those come in as PDFs a lot of times and we have to convert them. Please, everything JPEG.
Yes, like JPEG images for all, so that, because that's what goes through into our entry.
The system that you'll see here shortly that we present the entries to the judges just requires JPEGs to
Sir, this is what you'll get when you...
It's in your call for entries package,
Okay.
exactly. You're going to see all of this, and this is being videotaped so you can watch it later online. So if you've missed anything today, it is saved and recorded for a later date. Also, on your marketing statements, as we talked about before, write concise, to-the-point statements that complement your photographs. We're going to show you an example coming up here of a great example of a marketing statement. Stay away from referencing elements that are not visible. Don't talk about that cute little girl's room if there are no photography of it. It just frustrates the judges. Well, they talked about that really cute room, but now I can't see it. And then also, know your audience. They're professionals, they know you. And boilerplate statement. If you have a community and you're submitting for multiple entries, some folks will do what we call boilerplate statements, where they'll write one statement and they'll submit it for every single entry. That just absolutely annoys a judge because they're not getting any new information. Even if you just write something very simple like, this is Plan 3, it's our single level ranch home, and it's for an empty nester couple. That is much better than getting the same statement 11 times in 11 different categories. Imagine being the person on the other end of that entry. It is just, it never fails. And all it does is make that judge, it just hits them the wrong way. First impressions? So this is what the judges will see. This is our entry system. And so as you can see, all 8 images for your entry are on the screen at one time. Now, these are thumbnails. We show them to them in the thumbnail version so that you can get an overview of the entry. And then what we do is we blow them up so that you can see the full image. But we want to make sure you can see what the judges see when they're going through. I'm going to show you now a sample.
Okay, so let's take a look at entry 4304. Located in Lone Tree, this home is targeted towards young professionals and families with a base price of $669,000. Square footage is 5,686 square feet. Beautiful inside and out, the attention to detail in this house is unparalleled. From carefully selected materials and color on the exterior to a well thought out livable floor plan inside, this house has it all. The open rail stair wows upon entry, but once around the corner, the glassed and steadies tucked below the stairs steals the show. The light and bright gray room, designed to capture the beautiful views with expansive windows, opens to an infinity kitchen, which perfectly conceals the butler's pantry. An extra large island, perfect for entertaining or casual meals, anchors the kitchen and provides extra counter space. The master suite screams luxury with its private covered balcony, fireplace, oversized walk-in closet, and a spa bath. Upstairs, a multifunctional loft is a perfect place for crafts or homework. All outdoor spaces in this home are oriented towards the stunning mountain views because that's exactly why we live here in Colorado. Let's have a discussion now on this plan, judges, and our thoughts.
So, just so you guys saw there, what they did there is they literally wrote the statement to their imagery. So it's almost like they took the judges and walked them through the home as if they were there in person. It's just a really good example.
And what's interesting also about it that we didn't catch was the last time we used this as a sample, one of the people in the entry seminar said, "Oh, but I wanted to see the bathroom," because they do mention the bathroom as well, the spa-like bathroom. And they were looking forward to seeing that, and it's not there. So it kind of also gives you that little feeling of talking about something that's not there too. So
other thing to note is the judges are then asked to discuss. The reason they're asked to discuss is they represent different aspects of the industry. You may have builders, interior merchandisers, architects, marketing directors who are within your judges panel, and they all have just a little different opinion on what they're looking at. So the architect might be asked to lead the discussion on the product design. The interior merchandiser will discuss the interior finishes and so forth. So there is discussion, and they do talk about it. And it's encouraged.
But that having your images, if you're having a stumbling block on writing those marketing statements, having those images laid out and kind of writing to how you've numbered them, do them as you're walking into the house, as kind of you saw that did, and then talk about it that way as well. We'll try to click, and as she's reading and I'm clicking to do it as we go along. But a lot of times it helps people when they're having that stumbling block. What do I write about this? We'll write about the images and what people are seeing, and it makes it easier.
Exactly, right to the imagery. So we're just going to go quickly through the sample entries. They're in your packages. These are just some really good information. So this is a logo entry. They submitted 4 images for their logo. They submitted their logo, and it's supposed to be in black and white, but they gave us showing it to us in reversed out. They showed us how it's used in other forms. They're online and then their ads. And then they talked about it. This is a first-time move-up buyer, empty nesters, and an environmentally conscious buyer. That's really interesting, an environmentally conscious buyer. So they're giving us descriptive. These are obviously some pretty picky buyers. The objective was to protect the historic and rural character of the property. Well, that makes more sense on why we named it Harvest, right? They wanted to, obviously, they were talk about how it has a historic home built in the 1800s located on the property. Later, we come to find out that historic home has been turned into their sales office. How cool is that? From what they developed, they coordinated the main logo so it can be used together and apart, and it's perfect for social media and digital applications. So they gave us the intent, the story, and how it's used later on. So it gave us pretty good detail on why they did what they did with their logo. So that's a really good example for you. This is their print ad. Now again, they've already submitted a logo. We've seen them earlier. Now we're moving on, and it's almost like you're building a case, like anybody watch Scandal or How to Get Away with Murder. They're building the case for their community because they're going to eventually go for Community of the Year. So again, they don't talk about the stuff that we've already heard about. They write a unique marketing statement for just this entry and what they're trying to do with this fresh look ad. So it, again, talks about the fact that this residence, it was on a farm. So they're talking about that farm-to-table type atmosphere. Oh, they also gave us, the ads increased web traffic 47% in the first 10 days of the campaign and tripled their foot traffic. Results are incredibly important in marketing statements. We're in marketing and sales. The intent of anything that we do in marketing is to drive a consumer to our website or to our actual community. If you can share with us, or if you're able to, some builders don't want to share that information, but if you can share your results, that only qualifies and helps us to understand how well it did perform.
And back on the previous one in logo, you saw they used a conglomeration slide. Those are fine. If you have more than 8 images, for instance, in any category that you'd want to show, say you had 2 interiors that you really wanted to show, but you've already used up 8, you can combine a couple of things. Don't use it overly because it's small and it shrinks, but you can definitely do that.
It's a good solution to showing multiple imagery. This is a marketing statement for social media. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's just too long, But what I wanted to point out, and what you can see in your samples, is it gives us exactly what we were talking about earlier. It tells us that they used Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Houzz, and a blog. Then they talk about, and they give us results. The fact that they had how many impressions, how many total people reached, why they did what they did, and at the end, their results. We've grown our Facebook presence by 1,649 likes. Twitter is 262 fans. Pinterest has 17 boards and 81 followers, and Instagram has 114 followers. And Houzz is currently being used. Those aren't huge numbers, but what it shows is the fact that they're using all of the platforms. Now, not everybody has to use all the platforms. You know, if you're only have a Facebook page, but it's performing rather well, and you're getting good interaction, hey, that's fabulous as well. It's just understanding and why you've chosen that platform is also very interesting to know.
And the best thing about giving those results are when entrants start giving those and then there's an entrant that doesn't, then what happens is when we're pulling up their images that they give us here of their Facebook and so forth, now the judges are looking on the page, see how many likes they have, and see if you can see. So now
then you have to go searching, and then it's like, well, why didn't they tell us? Oh, it's because they only have 32 people following them on their face, on their Twitter. So this is a good, and now I've made this slide. This slide did not come in this way. They had a slide for every single one of their platforms, but I wanted to show it to you to show you that they showed us their Facebook, they showed us their Pinterest, they had their YouTube site, they had their Twitter, and then they also had their Houzz page, which I didn't include. So they gave us an image to showcase exactly all of their platforms that matched their statement. Okay. All right. For a sales environment, again, this one, the reason they give it to you as a sample is it has a goal and a challenge and their execution, which is fabulous. Tell us what, why you were doing what you're doing and why you did it the way you did. And this is exactly, this is a sales environment that was built to fit into, again, another rural type of environment, but they wanted to go with much more of a modern farmhouse. And these were their imagery. So they had 7 images, not the full 8. Or, sorry, they did have 8, pardon me. So they had the exterior, the entrance, and they walked you through the sales environment, including their outdoor amenities. Okay?
This was like a sales information center.
It was a sales information center for a master plan. For interior merchandising, this is the interesting one. So they're telling us that this is for singles and professionals, and it's a target audience is a single buyer. So this is a pretty interesting statement. The audience is a single buyer with or without kids or a young family. It has a narrow floor plan, and they chose white walls and warm wood floors. Up to a third of the living room has wood trim treatment called Judge's Panel to add dimension. So they explained exactly why they did what they did for the buyer market. And then as you walk through, you can it totally and utterly calls out the different unique spaces that they wanted to talk about, where they spent their money and where they decided not to. So you're going to see just that they pointed out the elements and the finishes, which is, again, a great way for interior merchandising. It doesn't always have to have that much detail to it, but they wanted to call out the things that we wanted to draw our eye to. Product design. This one was, I thought was a good statement, appealing to families with young children with an income of $90,000. They exactly told us who their buyer profile is. It's a normal, family, young family who doesn't have, a net worth of over $1 million. This is somebody who's going to, be a first-time buyer. They're families with children. It has a good layout. This design accounts for 21% of all model plans sold in 2013, so it's one of their high-performing plans. And then they talk about the fact that the family room was open to the kitchen and the dining area, sightline of the kitchen, single dining maximizes the home's functionality, and they go through and they talk about all the elements. They also, in all of the interior merchandising and product design, you are required to submit a floor plan. This is the floor plan they submitted. It does not need to be colored. It does not need to be elaborate. It just needs to be readable. So make sure that if you're submitting for interiors or product design, the floor plan out of your brochure without your names on it works completely fine. Again, saved as a JPEG. So it goes through product design. We have the front exterior, and then we walk through the plan. Again, calling out the fact that architectural details that we want to talk about based on the product profile. Okay? Now in this one, this instance, this entrant only had 6 images. You are not disqualified if you have less than 8 images. The reason we give you 8 images is that there are 8 spaces allowed to show to the judges. 6 images, 5 images work fine if that's all you have. Okay? So, any questions? All right. If you think of something later, feel free to email us. We've given you lparish, LPARRISH @thenationals.com is our email. Feel free to email us. If we've missed something, like you really need to see an entry sample for another category that we didn't showcase today, please let us know. We're happy to share that with you. Or if, as we're going along, if you need any other help, we're here to help. Okay? All right. I think I either did a wonderful job or a terrible job. I'm not sure which, but I always try really hard. And then we'll see you on March 26th on the red carpet at MAME. Oh, by the way, if you're interested in being on the MAME committee, I'm sure that they would love to have you. It's a lot of fun. You'll be responsible for helping us to solicit for entries, sponsorships, tickets, and obviously the event that night. And Leslie would be happy to have some extra help.